What's up, MMA fans? It's Tudor Leonte from Sherdog here, and once again, I have the pleasure to talk with PFL featherweight contender, Mr. Chris Wade. Hello, Chris, and welcome back. How are you?
Hey, Tudor. It is good to talk to you again. I'm doing great, and I'm glad we're having another conversation. That means that we're advancing.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. Where are you right now? You seem to be in a wonderful location.
I am on my deck in my backyard hanging out, just looking at the pool in the yard,
Ooh.
just trying to get a little sun before we lose it because I've been in the gym for most of the day today, and it was so nice out. So I'm just trying to get a little fresh air and sun.
Yeah, for sure, and also some all good vitamin D, which
Yeah,
is always good.
absolutely.
I've seen some beautiful pictures at the beach side on your socials. Where have you been?
I just recently bought a boat after the last fight. And as you know, I live on Long Island in New York, and we're basically surrounded by water. So I've been spending a lot of time out on the bay, the Great South Bay here, which is only just a few minutes from my house, and at the surrounding ocean beaches as well, which we when you drive over to Fire Island, it's like a 10-15 minute boat ride, and
Mhm.
then you're on the ocean side, not the bay. So that's where I've been spending most of my summer.
Oh, like I said, those pictures looked really really great. But talking about MMA, you recently defeated Arman Ospanov at PFL 4. I would like to ask you to talk us through that finish, please. Since you stopped him in the second round.
Yeah. Wow. It was a wild uh, amount of emotion. I I knew I needed a finish to block up a playoff spot, and I had done this once before in the first season of PFL. I needed a finish, and I got one. And I mean, Arman though, wow, probably one of the more dangerous strikers that I've ever fought, that I've ever stepped in the cage with. So to be able to knock out just like an expert striker, somebody who's lethal there, was it was a really good feeling. It made me feel like all of the work I put in on my striking game during COVID in 2020 really paid off. And there's no better feeling than when you work hard and it pays off.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And you added another Dagestani guy to the list of the fighters you faced, and you defeated Arman Ospanov.
Yeah, I mean, man, I have such a relationship, right, with the whole Dagestani fight culture, and I've joked about it before, and I really would love one day, like when I get some time, to go over there and spend a little bit of time training and just like absorbing the culture of the Dagestani people, because somehow, I don't know, in my life I wound up just intertwining with this culture, and I have a lot of respect for their culture and how tough they are. I grew up a wrestler, and I respect so much their heart, their toughness, and it's like everyone that comes out of that culture can fight you. They can, or like you have a
Yeah.
problem if you have to get physical with them, and that's, to me, is just amazing. So one day I'm hoping I can spend some time over there, and like I really really respect them.
You are now scheduled to face Baba Jenkins in the semifinals, which will go down on August the 27th. What do you expect from your upcoming opponent?
Oh, wow. I expect a fight very similar to the one I had in the first match. Well, an attempt of that, a fight in the first match with Anthony Dizzy, where he was like a Greco wrestling specialist. Sorry, the train is passing nearby.
No, no
He was
worries,
a
no worries.
he was a specialist in grappling and in like kind of controlling you up against the cage. And for me, I think that I learned a lot this season from that fight. Um, Bubba fights really similar to that. He's if you look at all his fights, he shoots in, he gets a body lock, he puts you up against the cage, he'll trip you down to the mat and kind of just hang out there, control you, win 2 rounds, get tired, lose the third, and then he walks away with a 29-28 win. So I expect very similar actions from him. I don't think he's capable of opening up himself up and spending a lot of energy and surviving this fight. I think his cardio is not as good as Dizzy's cardio was. So I think he's going to look to like slow the fight down, pick his spots to wrestle in, try to show the judges like, look, I had a takedown for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And so I win that round. And it's just not what's going to happen. I have a high level wrestling background as well. I'm a state champion in New York. I'm an All-American multiple times here as well. And I really believe in my fighting abilities. So, and my athleticism. So this is going to be like a really nasty fight where he has to survive a lot of strikes to make it through.
You reached the semifinals. It seems that your decision to move down to featherweight is definitely paying off. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say so. It's not that I couldn't reach the semifinals right at 55. I still think I could be in the semifinals at 55 too, if I wanted to. I just, I'm even bigger here at 45 now. So those guys like Loic that I fought, he's the 1 seed up at 55. You know, he could take some shots that Bubba probably can't take. And because he's just a way bigger man. Nothing against Bubba or anything. He's just he's got 30 pounds on the guy with his stature. So, yeah, I'm in a good place. I think when you see me stand next to Bubba, you're going to realize, like, these are two differently sized people. And that's where the weight cut is hard, but it really does pay off because I'm just like the size bigger, I think.
We talk shortly after your first cut to 145. Was your second cut to featherweight was smoother, or I don't know? You documented very well your cut to featherweight. How went your second cut to to 145?
I would say that in my second cut, that I what I decided to do was the first cut I was so scared that I wouldn't be able to make the weight that I made like lifestyle changes and shrunk myself a little more. I think I pulled more muscle off of my body early because I was so worried that I wouldn't have enough water to cut to make 45. And then the second time I let myself come down from a little bit higher of a weight where I wasn't freaking out that I wasn't like 161, 3 weeks before. I let myself be a little bit bigger for longer, and I was able to still cut the weight and make it. And I felt so good the next day in comparison to the first fight. And it might have been just because it was the first time I made it, but for the first round against Dizzy, I felt so lethargic, so slow. It was really hard for me to get going. So I think the second weight cut let me figure out what was better for my body. And I'm going to stay there where I stay up a little higher and I just cut the water weight. It hurts for that night, but it allows me to like be bigger when I come back, more explosive.
Yeah, Unlike the past years, this time PFL dropped the one night tournament format. You took part in that format in the previous years. I would like to ask if you are going to miss that.
No, that needs to never, in my opinion, never come back. You just can't. I realized I wasn't sure because I hadn't done it before, and I wrestled a lot. So I wrestled like multiple times in one day in a tournament. It's not the same thing. You can't ask guys nowadays to fight twice in one night because your adrenaline dumps, and you're just not the same fighter the second time. So basically you're forfeiting the quality of your product to squeeze two bouts in. And I know, I get it. Like, there's some intrigue to like running people back in the same night because it's just a crazy thing to do. But from a perspective of the fighters, I don't think it's healthy or safe, and I don't think that should happen anymore.
Yeah, I was laughing since I'm getting some mixed reactions from fighters. There are some ones who are telling me that would like to take part again in that kind of competition. But I can see your point. I mean, and I agree with you that fighting twice in the same night, the the fighter is not the same in the first fight and in the second one, all considered the competition and all. So if it was up to you, PFL should never do again that kind of format.
Yeah, if it were up to me, I would say to scrap that. Just because, like I said, you simply, I think I fought the last time it was like that. I fought twice in like an hour, right? So
Ooh.
how can I come out of the fight, my body and my mind from all the fights I've had are saying, all right, that's it. Your work is done. You've won your fight. You go to the back, you get checked by medicals, you do some photos, your body starts to cool down. You lose your sweat and you lose your adrenaline, which is a huge part of a fight for anybody. And then they're like, all right, warm back up and go out again. And it's like your body is like, whoa, 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 we don't do this. Like, this isn't how this goes. So I'm out there fighting, and it's like, it's such a weird feeling because you don't have any of your hormones with you that would help you in a situation like that. You just get everything, you feel everything more because you don't have your body's benefit to help you.
Yeah. You have a point for sure. In your opinion, who is going to win the second semifinal between Brendan Lafnane and Mavlid Kaibulaev?
Oh, I was just talking about this with my teammates, and we think that Movlead is going to win that fight because all right, first of all, because I fight Russians. Like, that's just how it goes in my life. So if I'm going to win the $1 million, why wouldn't I have to face every Russian in the weight, right?
Sure.
I would.
Of
So
course.
how could he not win, And that's how we're looking at it. But no, I would rather, stylistically, I'd rather fight Brandon. So I'm rooting for him. I mean, when I think of an English guy, I think of like a tough boxer, and that's pretty much exactly what he is. Like, he's a really tough boxer with low kicks. And for me, in current modern day MMA, if you have a choice between a well-rounded opponent who can do everything and somebody who's really good but can only do, one thing, I'll take the guy who only specializes in one thing that I'm going to fight any day of the week, especially being a grappler. He thinks he can, like, he's like got the Connor's mindset. He thinks he can like keep standing up against people, but he doesn't realize that there's levels to it. Some of the guys he's been fighting are tough, but they're they're not as big, as athletic, and as imposing as Movlid and I are. So it's going to be really interesting, but I think Movlid wins like a decision, like takes him down second round, third round, wins like 2-1.
Sir, I finished my questions. Before I let you go, do you have any last message?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at CWadeMMA and follow my local businesses. Here on Long Island, we are at L Island Strong. We do a lot of great things locally here for local businesses, local athletes, and local charities. We sell some really cool gear. We have a storefront in Sayville that we sell all of our merchandise out of, and we're growing and growing. So just give us a look. We do some great stuff for the community.
Sir, it's such a pleasure to talk with you. And I'm not saying that to anyone. Best of luck with your upcoming fight, and hopefully I will hear again from you before the finals.
All right, Tudor. It was great talking to you, and yeah, let's talk again before the finals. Let's do this.
Have a nice day and best of luck. Bye bye.
All right, have a great weekend.